One.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa on Motivation Monday. Missed you last week.
Yes, I
Yeah,
missed
you out
guys.
having a love fest.
I was.
While I'm here
John
struggling
and I
by
had
myself.
A blast.
Yeah, her and her husband John out for 7 days of love.
Yes.
Right?
Huge love.
Yes, indeed.
Amazing.
I love it. It's awesome. That's why she's glowing this morning. Look at her.
I'm more tan now. I got my tan on. All that biking and hiking.
Biking and hiking and other stuff. Alrighty. Frank Sinclair, the Chief Encouragement Officer with Dream Again Business Consulting and
Lisa Sinnott with Innovate Success.
Indeed. And together we share this show with a reach of up to 40,000 people a week on the Be Encouraged show. And we are a platform for entrepreneurs and community-focused individuals to expand their reach and to create a positive impact in the Colorado Springs community and beyond. Today's episode, as always, is brought to you by the very awesome and incredible Joshua Agidi, who is not here, but his lovely bride is, and she looks better anyway.
Valerie's in the house.
Valerie Agidi is right here in the house, and not sure how to navigate the business world with new AI technologies. Cressio offers pay what you can consultations to underprivileged businesses in Colorado Springs. Please visit them at Cressio.com to learn more. And the fantastic Christopher Roberts with Pro Media, Colorado's leading service for professional video and photo content with an emphasis on sales process videos to convert your prospects into paying customers. Check them out at ProMediaColorado.com. This morning, I'm Frank, she's Lisa, and I always have to say something about Lisa because she's magnificent, she's amazing, and those are her bad points.
Thank you, Frank.
Yes?
Yes.
All righty. Thanks for agreeing with me.
I'm owning it.
All right, yes.
Let's do this.
I'm thrilled to introduce my dynamic co-host, Lisa Sinnott. Lisa is the heartbeat of our local business community. She's a mastermind in market penetration, a connector extraordinaire, and a trailblazer in leadership training. But wait, there's more. She's also your go-to MC and guru of getting people together for events. With Lisa, it's all about elevating and connecting right here in Colorado Springs.
Thank you, Frank. And this is Mr. Frank Sinclair, for those of you who may not know him, a dynamic entrepreneur, community advocate, and co-host. His passion is uplifting others through leadership insights and entrepreneurial guidance. Learn more about what he does at dreamagainllc.com and pick up a few of his books on Amazon.
Indeed. Thank you, Lisa. Remember to comment on our live stream, LinkedIn, Facebook, and also YouTube, and follow us there, and make sure that you go to our website at beencouraged.net to sign up for the show or to sponsor us.
Or the spotlight visits that we're doing.
And the spotlight visit. We'd love to come out to your business and spotlight you as well. Only thing you have to do is feed us.
Yep.
Right?
That's
it. You can tell I've been fed well. Not so much. But anyway, that's okay.
I can eat well now. I work out to eat. So
you do. This your little woman can get her grub.
Taste and fit.
I love, right? Thank you, Steve. Okay. He knows I'm a foodie.
Yes,
she's a foodie.
She is a foodie. Yeah. Lisa, I was getting ready to say Michelle.
Oh.
Hi, Michelle. Lisa, why don't you tell, who did you bring into the studio today?
Yeah, so we have a powerhouse here, actually. Well, first of all, our panel host, thank you, Mr. Steve Fisher, bringing on these other two amazing gentlemen here. So Steve is actually from San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, indeed. We won't hold that again.
Another Southern California guy right here.
Something good who came from there.
I'm from Northern California, so I own California.
My bride's from California.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there you go. And
So
all of my kids were born in California. Yeah, that's the thing. But now we're here, and we're loving Colorado.
Yes, indeed.
So Steve has over 25 years of experience in business development and sales, with his last 6 being spent with Heartland. And Mr. Jay Dial to my right here, Triple J Rodeo owner. Stampede event was amazing this year. Over 4K in attendance and 30 plus vendors, right?
Oh, we had a pile of people. It was a lot of fun.
It was amazing.
A pile of people.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, I went. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we missed you.
Yeah.
I was hoping to catch
I
up from you,
know.
but yeah.
I stayed till almost the end though, but you were out. You were talking to the boss.
Yeah.
I was a little busy.
What
You were
happened?
slightly
A few things going
Yeah,
on.
you're running the show.
So, yep.
And then, of course, Mr. Zach Langston's in the house, owner of Freedom Landscapes. He's phenomenal.
Yes.
He did my house. I mean, I gotta tell you.
Did he really?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He did. Yeah.
Okay, right on.
Yes, ma'am.
So you got a
It's very,
contact
very
with
good.
this dude.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if any of your landscapes looks as good as his beard, then you know that man is legit.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I need to get a little more.
Are you gonna go longer?
Yeah.
Is
I
that
think I'm
your
gonna go a
goal?
little longer,
Oh,
and then I'm
man.
gonna shave the head.
Okay.
I just
You're
the
gonna own
forehead
it.
has grown every year for the last 5,
Yep.
and so I think we're getting rid of the hair.
Okay.
And we'll go
Hey, at
on
least
with
it's
the beard.
still dark.
It's
That's
yeah,
good. Some
yeah,
of us wouldn't even
for
attempt
sure.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And the
So-
line is yet behind your ears, so you're good.
But you can color beards. You know, like women color their
True.
hair.
That sounds like
men
a lot of
can
work.
color. Yeah, it is a lot of work.
It's just for
You
Zach.
gotta embrace
For sure.
it, baby. When it starts to get white, embrace it.
Salt and pepper, baby. Salt and
Yeah,
pepper.
because
And
on
then-
us it looks good. On women it just looks old.
I'm not.
All right,
touching that
I'm
one.
not. I'm not.
I'm
touching
not
that one.
commenting on that. You were so. They all.
You're gonna have to punch us out.
Oh, yeah. All 3 guys back down.
That's like watching the garter toss at a wedding. All the guys just scatter.
Hey, you're gonna host, baby. You're gonna have to get some backbone.
Yeah.
Or just be old. One or the other.
Yeah.
Right, so.
You're gonna stay, you better commit. Yeah.
Steve, tell people a little bit about you, man. You are one fascinating human being.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even have to talk, and I could run through what this community, how this community sees you, the impacts that you've made in this community. But you tell them, because you can tell them better.
Yeah.
And if it's brag, it ain't bragging if it's true. Just
Well,
say it.
Well, thank you for saying that. What can I say? I've been here for 8 years now in Colorado Springs. Left Southern California after losing a job, and a little bit about my story. My wife and I had great jobs when we first moved here. We lost those jobs, no fault of our own. Our one company wasn't paying their taxes, and my wife's job got outsourced. And before you knew it, we'd put all our money into our house, and we were in a really bad position. We were both out of work. We didn't know anybody here, and fortunately, my wife, being as resourceful as she is, found Tri-Lakes Cares organization.
Yes, they're amazing.
And let me tell you what, they saved our bacon. They helped pay our bills. They fed us. They provided Christmas presents for our kids, a Thanksgiving meal, just the kind of things that we really needed, because we couldn't sell our house. We put it on the market, it wasn't selling, and while we were looking for jobs, we really needed their help. And we were very fortunate to find them. They helped us through a very tough transition. At the end of that transition, I found Heartland Payment Systems, or they found me, I should say.
Yeah.
My boss found me on LinkedIn, and it was a really great fit for me. So I've worked for them for a little over 6 years. I do credit card processing, point of sale systems, and joined a bunch of networking groups. That's where I met all of you.
Yes.
Which has been fantastic. I started with the Tri-Lakes Chamber of Commerce.
Yep. We were there
And,
together.
Yeah, so we've
I
known
remember
each
that
other.
at the breakfast.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
at the
first time I met
breakfast.
you.
Yeah. So that was over 6 years ago, if you can believe that
Yeah.
already.
Crazy.
And then we started Pikes Peak Pros.
Yes,
And
we
then
did.
started a couple more networking groups. Now I run 4 networking groups and love just connecting business owners and, obviously helping them with my services if I can, but really just connecting everybody and providing, connections for businesses to thrive, especially the small to mid-sized businesses, because I think that's the lifeblood of Colorado Springs.
It is lifeblood of any community, actually.
Yeah.
Small, medium-sized businesses that creates the engine and the movement within those places. We might not get the ink, but we're still the heart.
Yeah.
Not just in heartland. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So, you know what I love about how Steve started us today, Lisa, is that Steve I didn't have to
You
dig
did not have to.
for that piece. about how he's been helped and some of the challenges that he's gone through.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Zach, follow that lead.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beat that.
For sure.
Jay's like, oh my God.
Yeah. 7 years ago, I moved here to help start a youth group in a church. And that's really what brought me here to Colorado Springs. I came out with a 2004 Chrysler Sebring and whatever I could fit in it. Came out with no debt, no bills, and not sure what I was doing.
Yeah, wow,
And,
great
Were
start.
you married at the time?
I was not. My wife and I were dating, and we were dating in college. And I planned to be here for at least 4 months. At the end of that 4 months, the pastor that I was working with had a conversation with him, and it was just very obvious we weren't going to be leaving. And I was living with him at the time, and we worked through several transitions with the church. And really out of that scenario, living with a pastor and his family, that turned into Freedom Landscapes being started, really just out of hobbyist work. We started doing stuff on the side, and had a couple guys at church we work with and stuff on the weekends as I worked for the church. And over the last 5 years, Freedom Landscapes has operated itself, and that's been my full-time gig since then. And still very involved in the community here. Still very involved with teens and youth group, and have a heart for suicide and some single family homes and things like that, and just some of the areas where really our teens don't have a whole lot of resource. And so I've always put myself out there, man. If there's a family that needs a conversation, if there's a family that just needs just a little bit of help or a presence from someone that's a third party, I can be that third party, and would love to help families in any way that I can. That's really what brought me here and kept me here. And about 18 months in, my wife and I got married, moved into our own place, and have settled roots here ever since. And Colorado Springs is home. And coming from Northern California, like you mentioned.
Is that where you were from?
Santa Clara, California.
Okay.
And so where my parents grew up was about 3 miles from current Google, Intel, Apple, Yahoo headquarters there, Cupertino, California,
Yes,
Mountain
yeah.
View, Santa Clara.
Yeah.
My parents' home where I grew up is about 3 miles from all of that. And they're still there. They're enjoying it, loving life. I think they'll move here eventually. I've got the grandkids
Oh,
here.
yeah. You got the baby. They'll
Yeah,
be
for
coming
sure.
soon.
They'll be here eventually.
Yeah.
And but we're loving what we're doing here. I couldn't move back. Colorado Springs is home for me, and we've got a little plot of land out on the east side, and my son gets to run around in his underwear and cowboy boots and have a good time.
How many kids you have now?
We have two. We have
Yeah.
two. My son Bentley is 3, and Blakely's 1 year old, and
One.
loving life.
I think when I met your wife, she was with child.
She was.
Yes.
She was.
The first one?
No,
The
the
first
second
No,
one?
it
one.
should be the second.
It was the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a talk for your company up in Denver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, right when she
Yeah.
was pregnant with that.
Yeah,
baby.
this last December,
Yeah.
Frank came out and spent some time with our company, and just being an encouragement. Man, it was a great time. We're up at Fogo de Chao in Park Meadows, and had all of our families there, a group of about 35 or so.
fun, yes.
And Frank, thank you for that time. It was
Well,
good.
thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
That was amazing. It really was.
Well, your crew's amazing too. I mean, I gotta
Yeah.
say,
No.
they're very professional.
I found out today that he is related to 2 guys on my crew.
Are you
Oh,
serious?
And,
Oh,
small world.
I'm telling you, I only roll with the best. That's
Of
Yeah.
course.
That's my rule.
Yeah,
Yes.
6 degrees of separation.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the very accomplished. I love this guy, Jay Dow.
Oh,
and, yeah,
I think
yeah.
Zach over here. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I love him too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, yeah, but it was your intro.
Thank you,
Yeah.
buddy. Oh,
Not here, it's yours.
well, thank you. Thank you. I'm pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And humble.
And you're expecting your second too.
We got number 2 on the way. Come
Yes.
December.
Watch
actually.
out.
Yeah, December
That's
20th.
awesome, man.
Man, we've got Corbin, who's 2.5 years old, and he's someone wired him for 110, and someone plugged his button to 220 because he just keeps going.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
That's
So,
Wired into 110 and plugged it into 220.
Sounds good.
Can you run that back, Chris?
Yeah. That's fabulous.
that guy comes with a Tesla motor, it doesn't turn off. So he's a good kid. We love him absolutely to pieces. And of course, Mason Jacob Dial will be here come December.
Good
So
name.
got number 2 on the way, and 2 and through. I get a dog now. Finally, jeez, took 2 kids and 4 situations in life to get a dog. Who knew? So yeah, no. So we run Triple J Rodeo. I think in the essence of community right now, I'm the greenhorn, My ears are soaked, as they say. And we started in 2020, me and my father-in-law. Big shout out to Jeremy Wells. He's a retired major out of the Air Force. He and I started Triple J just under the banner, just wanting to put on a bull riding. We got done with some work on a Saturday, and we're sitting over lunch and threw the idea out there to him, say, hey, what do you think? And he slapped the table, says, when do we do it? I said, how about Veterans Day? And it was in 2020 that was, and we realized really quickly that was a stupid idea. So,
because of COVID?
Because of COVID. And then we were 6 weeks out from show, and we're like, cool, let's put all the stuff together. Like, no way. So we pushed clean off to 2021, had a really good turnout. It was right on the back end of COVID, so we got the green light to where we weren't necessarily social distancing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so what we were expecting was about 500 people out on tops to be able to get out to the show. We ran over 1,300 our very first show, which was phenomenal, right?
Yes,
Couldn't expect
absolutely.
anything better. And we've been at it now. We're going into year 4. We just got done with the Colorado Springs Stampede just a couple weeks ago. Biggest turnout that we've seen in a long time. Good Lord, we tried and we pushed, and we just keep going. I think a lot of where we're coming from, and we're kind of seeing the startup rub. Right, I think that's probably the best way to put it. It's where the friction really sets in. The rubber really meets the road. My wife and I talk about how we really feel like our business just got conceived, or not conceived. Excuse me, birthed. We've been conceived, and now we're birthed, and it's very laborsome and it's very difficult. But now the rearing of that child comes into play, and so where we get into that space, we realize that there is such a need for small businesses in Colorado Springs. We were talking about this in our pre-show production production meeting where we're talking about the element of how it's such a small big town where we know 6 degrees of separation. We know almost anybody in this town, whether you're from California, which by the way, welcome to the U.S. I always say I was born in Montclair, a month and a half we moved to Colorado Springs, so I am a native, by God, I swear. But anyway, it's
welcome to the U.S.
As he moves that way, right?
We're graduating.
You know why we're laughing, right?
Right. You level up.
It's never funny unless there's an element of truth to it. Right?
So true.
Welcome to the U.S.
Welcome to the U.S. It's kind of like these come out of the South just say, this lighting is crazy, isn't it? That's always a good joke to say at a rodeo from Mississippi. But anyway, we realize that small businesses thrive in Colorado Springs. My brother came in out of Germany, and he's like, this is crazy because you come to Colorado Springs and you have sections of Colorado Springs that all have roughly about the same resources, a Walmart, a King Soopers, whatever that may look like. But then it also kind of comes down to where we service those areas individually, right? There might be some where you might serve a little bit more heavier than others. And we realized that with Triple J. And the thing with Triple J, and I've been a part of rodeo since I was a kid. I rode bulls growing through high school and into college. And I'm a pro rodeo announcer now, so I travel and I get to do quite a bit of different rodeo events. And the biggest thing that we saw, not to get necessarily long-winded, so apologies on that, but we saw where there's so many companies that spend so much money on sponsorships. And it's amazing because companies are investing into events locally that are meant to drive community excitement and fun. And it's an investment, right? Yeah. Well, an investment should have a return. And it was a sore spot for me because when all I see, and you guys heard my pitch before, is when you only see a banner on a panel and a name set in the sky, what kind of return is that? Right. And so with Triple J, we wanted to shift the narrative. We wanted to shift the gears. We love our community. We love Colorado Springs. And so knowing all of those things and realizing what this year really kind of was able to produce, where we had the highest level of return on investment out of our sponsors and our vendors, awesome. Which is, it's not heard of. That's crazy to me. Right. But then in the same way where we have the same level of excitement and people calling me still saying, hey, can we be a part of next year? Knowing that we're only growing, we're increasing, we've got a lot more space and capacity to serve. That's why we want to get into our local chambers. I sat on a panel last week with the Small Business Administration, and their biggest question to me was, what's the main challenge? And I said, I don't look at it as a challenge. It's just a goal is how do I funnel business back to these communities and back to these businesses that are supporting local events, whether it be mine or motocross or the 4-H or a ballet, whatever that looks like. For me, I want to posture Triple J Radio to really spearhead the desire to push business back to the businesses that are supporting businesses like my own.
So, Jay, you have a background in law enforcement,
Yes, ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So tell us about that journey from that to what you're doing now.
Yeah, I don't even know if there's really any correlation outside of just being crazy. No, I was a cadet in high school, so I volunteered with the sheriff's office here with El Paso County, and had a ball. I mean, I learned so much about law enforcement. I thought I was always going to be a deputy sheriff and a world champion bull rider. Well, I became a deputy sheriff and I rode bulls, and that's as far as it went, you know. And I loved it. I loved what it meant for our community. Where there for the longest time, which was crazy to me to think about, was it was almost a 20-year gap from the time that we lost one deputy to the time that we lost, I think it was Michael Flick, which was desperately difficult, right? I mean, and that's so incredibly hard. Granted, CSPD had losses in there with Ken Jordan and I hate that I'm forgetting his name, and it bothers me that I am Jensen. I forget his first name, but Officer Jensen. And so I was a cadet during those times, and of course it burned in my passion to want to serve my community, and in seeing El Paso County grow and Colorado Springs grow. So being that this is home, it's really easy for me to, if anything, the correlation is just that, is realizing the service area is so broad here.
Right. Were you married when you were?
No, thank God, no.
Okay.
No,
That's rough.
I was single like an elk in the rut being pushed off by more bulls. It was bad. At least in that case, but it was good that I was single. I learned a lot about myself in that space. I can't believe they trusted me to have a gun, which is awesome. I was a young kid, but I always wanted to be a cop, and so I was positioned and postured to be a law enforcement officer. To this day, I still get. Shoot, I had a friend of mine just call me. There's a domestic violence situation that was going on, and asking me a little bit about the procedure. And I'm like, I've been separated since 2016. I love my brothers in blue. Of course, this year we supported Shield 616, which helped us to graduate some of the academy class with some new vests. So we were able to give a donation back to them through the rodeo, which of course we do all the time. But yeah, I was very single when I was a cop. Yep.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, good. For Sarah, right?
Yeah.
It's what?
Megan.
Megan.
He's got
Which
the
one?
Sarah.
She's Sarah.
Sarah's on my
You've
side.
got the Michelle.
Which is,
I've got the John.
so
It's all right, man.
So
It
Michelle,
happens. You're
It's
getting
all right.
older.
Should we bring that white hair comment
I
back?
hope we all
Yeah,
Help
are.
us. Receding hairline to go
Help
with it.
us.
Yes.
That's right.
Well, thank you, Jay. I mean, I obviously I know you very well,
Yeah.
and the journey that you're on right now, and your heart to give back to this community. Listen, we live in Colorado.
Yeah.
This is the West.
It's the West.
Yeah.
You know, what better place is there to start a Western organization than right here, where we can look out our windows with a little imagination, see the cowboys rolling over the hills and the Indians and everything.
Yeah.
It was here.
It
was right here.
Exactly.
So there's a built-in, I believe, advantage to the work that you're doing if you stay by the stuff.
Oh, we're in. Well,
Right.
we think about that. Pro Rodeo Hall of Fame's here.
Yep.
PRCA headquarters are here. The PBR headquarters are in Pueblo. I mean, we are cowboy. I mean, what do people think about when they see a cowboy hat roll through? Traditionally, my guess is it's somebody that you trust, love, and give them a nice big hug. Unless they get a great big dip in. They might be a baseball player, but the point of it being is that you see a cowboy hat, there's something to it. There really is.
There is. There's no one recoils or even thinks twice about it because there's an expectation.
That's right.
Here.
There's a
Right?
brand about that cowboy hat that means something.
Indeed.
Yes, sir.
Indeed. Steve, we are kind of in a lull business-wise in community. When you start to see real estate, that industry start to languish, it floats down to the rest of us that are in business.
It feels like there's a slow.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
For everybody.
Yeah. What are you sensing being, you lead 4 groups right now. You're around a lot of people who are trying to network and maybe try to rebound a little bit from what we're feeling. What are your sense?
I think all of our fingers are on the pulse here, and it's slow for everybody.
Yes.
It's hard right now.
It is.
It's hard. It's hard for me. I think it's hard for most everybody. And here's the thing that's neat about our community is we are all tied in together.
Mm.
And we kind of need each other a lot right now, even more so than normal.
Right.
And that's where these relationships come into play, I think, that we can all kind of need to reach out to each other and support one another even more so.
Mm.
I just had our golf tournament for the 5th annual Heartland Connect golf tournament for Tri-Lakes Cares, and we made just a little bit less than we did the previous year, but it seems like it's more popular and more people know about it.
Yes.
But I think the business owners are in a little bit of a bind, and it was hard for a lot of people to sponsor, I think. So it's awesome to hear that the rodeo's still growing, and that's fantastic, as it should.
Yeah.
But I could feel it was a little bit of a tough year. I had a lot of conversations with a lot of business owners that said, you know, I really want to sponsor your tournament. I had planned to, I had written it in, and I just can't do it right now. It's like, hey, that's okay. I get it. So to go back to your, you know, what your point was is we really need to rely on each other more so than ever before, and refer business to one another and purchase from one another. And I encourage the networkers in this town really to come together because we've got each other. And that's
So
pretty awesome.
networking is, from what I'm extracting from everything that you're saying is, you know, networking is more important right now. I mean,
it kind of seems that way.
Yeah, right.
Yes, yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of people that are networking that hadn't networked before
No.
because they were so busy.
Or they're back networking.
Yeah, and now they're coming back networking.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. There's a lot of those people, and
Yes.
you know, it's like, hey, I want to get into networking. You know, you have some groups. Let me come out. It's like, yeah, great, come out.
Yeah.
But I always tell people that even when things are going good, don't be that business that you grow your business from networking. You get so busy and you're like, I don't need it anymore. Because, you know, now if you're coming back, it's...
There's never a time where that's true, where you don't need it. There's a reason that there's a phrase that your network creates your net worth. And your network creates your net worth, right?
Maybe find it, if you're doing too many networking groups, maybe pare it down to the ones that are really your favorites. But never cut networking out. I mean, you're cutting off your pipeline too.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you know what? I still see it. A few people are saying, hey, we just lost like Tim Richardson. Please don't do it yourself. He's blown his group, his business up so much. He's so busy. He's like, I can't network anymore. You know what? That's awesome. I'm so happy for those people. But I encourage most people to try and keep it going.
Well, I'm even seeing, you know, people are torn. Do I pay the hundreds of dollars now for networking because I'm not getting anything from the free ones, or should I just do the free ones? There's a lot of confusion when I'm talking to business owners on that. People who've never paid into a paid membership are now doing that, and then others are, you know, they're kind of jumping. They're just confused. They're confused.
Well, so are you referring more of like a BNI and paying?
There's more BNIs. There's and PEP nets. There's a lot of paid ones as well. Yeah,
I say check out the group. It's all about the people.
Exactly.
It's all about the leadership and the direction the group's going. Do you have quality businesses in there that are actually referring business? There's a lot that goes into networking and whether a group has value or not.
Exactly.
I mean, Pikes Peak Pros, we don't pay anything to be part of that, but there are so many great business owners that refer business. All you hear about every week in shout outs is people referring business to one another. So, you know, there's some free ones out there that are still good groups. And it depends on what kind of business you're in. You know, BNIs, if you're a construction trades,
all day.
I mean, that's money, that's gold.
That's gold on the table.
If you're selling doTERRA oils, that might not be the place for you.
Exactly.
And
just being honest.
Great. We will say though, if you're selling doTERRA, we're good.
We love you too.
And Steve's number is.
You may not just want to pay a $900 membership.
I have bought doTERRA oils. Support them all.
I know, but we really have to say something about that because we make these imaginary divisions about types of businesses and etc. And they're imagined. They're not real. You know, I mean, business is business. And if you're really a business person, I don't care if you're multi-leveling it or how you're building the platform of your business, be serious about that. Right? If you're not serious, if it's just a plaything for you, I don't care if you in a brick and mortar. you're not going to be taken seriously.
Right.
And don't judge a book by its cover. I've met some people
Yeah.
that I heard their business, and I'm like, whatever. And then I find out like they're the most amazing people
Yes.
with the most amazing connections and
Yes.
referring business, and it's like,
Influence.
and just don't judge anything.
That's right.
Absolutely. Just
Exactly.
be open,
Yeah.
right? Until you're not.
Meet the person. Meet the person
Exactly.
Yeah.
and find out about
Zach,
this.
I mean, you've been very successful too with marketing your business, and I mean, you soared from when I first met you till now. So talk about that journey.
Yeah, so I grew up in a big town. That was a big town, and small business didn't really exist. Santa Clara, California. I mean, you had your mom and pop shops, a lot of foreign people coming in with unique things that they did, or restaurants or whatever, and that was really your successful small business was mom and pop retail storefronts. Things like that. You had a lot of trades that were small and did well, but as soon as they grew, it was, we outgrew our foundation. We can't keep up, losing business, those kinds of things. And in coming here, I actually had no intention of starting a business. It really, and it sounds terrible, but it really did start on accident. There was such a demand for what I had started doing on the side that, I had guys coming to me saying, when can I start full time? I had employees coming to me saying, I want to do this like every day. Can I come back Monday? And I was like, no, I've got a job, man. And so that's really how that started. And the niche that we've fallen into is that there's not really relationship-based landscaping companies out there. There is a lot of landscaping to do in the Springs. One of the reasons is landscape maintenance is tough here. So people keeping up with their yard and weeds and how to water and managing water and all of that stuff. There are a lot of unique things here in the Springs that I did not grow up with. And now that I'm here and I've learned it and honed that in, we have a niche where we can have a relationship with our clients moving forward and being able to help them. But there's a lot of transactional landscaping companies out there that are flying through one yard.
Most of them are transactional.
Absolutely. And so I think really the niche, in answer to your question, why we've been able to grow the way that we have, I'm proud to say we had 22 employees on payroll this last month. And we've got 8 different families that are married, kids, things like that we're helping support right now. We have 4 different employees now that have had babies or are expecting. We've had 4 different employees buy their first home. It's been a big deal for us, and really the reason we've been able to get to that point is because there's not relationship-based landscaping companies. What I'm doing in particular, in out in front of the business, is much different than what most companies are doing. We don't do real well with digital marketing. And I don't say that as in we've tried and failed, as much as it is like we've never done it. Like we've used Facebook ads for a grand total of maybe 3 months and 5 years. We've never run a Google ad before. We're doing a little bit of SEO, and we're building that out right now. And I think to get my big boy pants on, so to speak, and do good business like you're talking about, I think we need to be prepared for digital marketing. But it's not how we've gotten to where we're at.
And
today.
we might want to make sure that we're clear too, because digital is the face of marketing of the future. And digital can be relational as well. So we have to, but you have to be on it a lot to make it relational, right? Doesn't mean you have to do it. You don't.
And that's something that I really have failed at. We should be at a better spot. Looking at the rest of where our business is at, our digital side should be at a better spot. But that said, in answer to your question, that's how we've really gotten to where we're at today.
Well, the relational piece is huge. I mean, I've got you guys on speed dial, and I loved when I first did my big vision in our new build. I told you exactly like my big scope, and then we whittled it down to, okay, phase 1, we just did phase 2 this summer, and then next summer I'll probably have a phase 3. You know what I mean? Like it's that build up, but it's just a text away. That relationship piece is huge. I totally agree with you.
Well, look at you though. Who's more relational in the city than you are?
That's true.
It has to be good.
Yeah, if it wasn't relational, if he didn't answer my text, I would not be calling his general manager. No. It's true, but I think he knows that.
Yeah. We all know that, Lisa. Let us run, because the whole point of our show is to infuse hope and encouragement into our community by talking to local leaders such as yourself and etc. But a lot of people, I don't want anyone to be I don't want anyone to be tripped up by this conversation. Tell us about some of the challenges that you've had, my friend.
Yeah.
This is business, right? Right? I don't know any business without challenge. Yeah, right? So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure. We have had a number of challenges in regards to how to grow. One thing that we've changed this year is I have gotten out of my own way a lot. And we have had really 3 different situations that have forced us into, we need to do something different. There's got to be a better way to reinvent this wheel here. And most of that was getting me out of my own way, getting people in places that are responsible for things and taking care of the management side to get me out of the way of it. I love what we do. I love being in the field and on projects and all that stuff. Like, man, people ask me all the time, when's the last time you ran a wheelbarrow? Well, I'll be honest, it's been like 3 years. That's not my role.
Right.
But I do love being in it with the clients, and running through estimates, and all of that. I really enjoy being in the operation. And what I found this year is that that was what was holding us back from getting to the next step, is me being in the operation.
You know, Jack, I hate to interrupt there, but this is my space.
I
right?
know it.
You know, and it's
Got
just
all
like,
fired up here.
because
Let me get in here.
Someone give him a mic.
Yeah, well, thank you for admitting that. Thank you for that vulnerability and that transparency in that place, because you just described the nemesis for almost every small business I've ever engaged.
Yeah.
Right? Want to work in the business instead of on the business.
Normal growing.
Right? It is normal growing pain. And the growth isn't just with the exponential, how big the business gets, is how big the person gets.
Yeah.
Right? That's what changes it. It is the expansion of you. Johanna are having some of those conversations, right?
Now.
And we're
Every moment.
working on the business instead of working in the business instead of on the business, and not doing the things of your design. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It's been a transition. I'll be honest. We're not there yet, and we're still working through that. But for the first time ever, I can actually see a vision for how we're running the business today. On how, you ask, how do you double your revenue? Well, I can actually see the path to doubling our revenue now. And if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I barely could have seen us increasing. Just for a couple of rough numbers, we've grown about $400,000 a year in gross revenue for the last 3 years. That's been great. It's been an accomplishment.
Great growth.
But that's not necessarily the point. The point was that I lost sight of, like, how do I do any more than that? I lost sight of how do we can keep the culture that we have with the people that we have, service the clients that we're servicing, but while growing. And I really lost that this year. And it's been about a 6-month transition or so.
Yeah.
And I couldn't be more excited about where we're at, where we're headed. We've opened up our doors a little bit more to the general contractor space. Us being involved in very high, what I would call high-end custom homes here in El Paso County and Douglas County, where you're building a $2 to $10 million custom home, and getting involved with the contractors that are doing that. Most contractors, general contractors, hate landscapers.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is they'll turn over the home and let the homeowner deal with it. The way that we do business, the general contractors appreciate. And so being able to come, and we've added that to our scope, and have done a number of things in that space as well. So.
That's awesome. Congratulations. Yeah, this is no joke, right?
Yeah.
The process of business is hard.
Yeah.
It's incredibly hard. It eliminates those that can't, and it celebrates those that can.
That's right.
And it needs to do that, because those that can't need to get out, go do the things, take care of their families, do the things that they are supposed to do in the spaces of their design. But if you can, you change people's lives from the inside of that business.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing.
Appreciate it.
Rock it.
We're figuring it out. Trying to.
Trying to.
We'll be back in 6 months and tell you how we
We love to hear it. Right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Lisa, as we think about these businesses and the things that they're doing, these gentlemen, and actually, in all transparency, Steve and you have worked together before as well, and and created some really good things and exciting things that he's doing with Heartland and Heartland Connect and all of that. So, Jay, how are you going to push out Triple J to the next level?
Oh man, I'm gonna grow a beard and I'm gonna grow 6 feet. Yeah, I meant grow to 6 feet. That's. I'm already working from behind
If
here.
you do that, tell me how you do it. I want to be 6 feet.
I need a ladder to jump in the car. It's crazy. No, yeah, you know, it's funny because it's something that we consider. I say funny just in the way to kind of insert it into my thought. So it's not funny. It's legitimate.
Right.
That in itself could be funny, but I am digressing big time. The element about where we come in and where Triple J really comes in is really what's so interesting is exactly the way Steve's coming in and exactly the way Zach's coming in. Steve is seeing the benefit of the essence of community, make a bigger impact than yourself, reach out to help others, connect, more or less lock arms. A lot of the old-timey way in which business was done. If you got a small town, everybody utilizes everyone, right? And when that is shared in that space, a lot of people are successful, right? But then in the same way, when you put a personal touch on it, like Freedom Landscapes, and whenever the brand that's pressed against the board is more relational than it is transactional, you find yourself in such a position to where the outreach is better and the impact is much more big. And for Triple J, that is exactly what we bought into. I literally was just saying this the other day, was for us, I could be an event company. And I could be an event company that's strictly for my event and for maybe the few companies that keep coming back each year. But my guess is turnover for the companies would be exceptionally high. We retain in the ballpark of about 85 to 90% of our businesses. We've had
that's insane.
The amount of businesses that stay with us. We're actually we have to open up. What are we calling it? It's our it's legendary. It's not that. It's a certain sponsorship that's kind of allowing us to promote the ones that stayed with us. And the problem is the field is huge for that, which is awesome because it's not about ourselves. We realize that there's a community that we work within. I had an epiphany whenever I stepped out of a W-2 position. So I was an insurance adjuster after I became a cop. And I've always worked in a W-2 position with this massive dream to work for myself. I always wanted to be a business owner. I've got a twin brother and him and I, we call these Italian work parties. They're cigars, whiskey, and hot tubs. Don't ask what B said, but it's there. Okay, so that being said, we drive a lot of great conversation out of those, but that's where our business ideas came from. You know what we could do, and we could do. And I think in the essence of the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa, maybe this is an opportunity for those who are listening who are maybe just kind of on the bubble. Who are like, I'm tired of the 9 to 5. I'm not flourishing. I'm not thriving in this place. I'm literally punching in to punch out, and I want more. I was in that spot. I was right there. I was with AAA. And I know nothing to take away from AAA because I've
I worked for AAA in Northern California for 12 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Stories to share.
Yes.
6 degrees.
6 degrees, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where I was at, and I had the best bosses, the best coworkers. But I remember just plugging in, and I'd find myself looking more at my phone on social media than I was actually doing my job. I was checked out, and I was so tired. I was burnt out, and then I remember the day that I went into business for myself for the first time. That's when I became a rodeo announcer, and I actually started public speaking full time. And the day of freedom, I remember, I will never forget it as long as I live. I was headed to Badette, Minnesota at 1 o'clock in the afternoon after I finished my last day with AAA. Triple J, that's never going to end. AAA, definitely did. And I remember leaving thinking, I have zero bills, zero debt, and I can just go, as if to say, the world is my oyster. It's an aphrodisiac. Watch out, world, I'm coming. Right? And that was such a freeing, motivating, scary feeling. Because then it comes into, when it comes into the rub, what's next? How do we push past that?
Now it's go time.
And now it's go time.
Yeah,
And
cool.
when there's a throttle to be pressed and you push that thing all the way forward, you hear those engines roaring, quite frankly, be ready because it's going to sit you in your seat. I love how TD Jakes talks about an arrow all the time, is where your digression sets you up for your progression. And whenever a bow and arrow, you get pulled back the entire time, be ready for that launch. And quite frankly, we're in the position of the launch. We last year was very difficult for me and my family. We were in a real dire straits situation, one in which I can get into much later on at another time. But pushing through that, we saw the biggest increase this year, and we're postured for an even bigger increase next year. We're kind of living up much bigger. We're kind of living up to our name as far as Triple J.
Yeah.
And so, but again, to wrap it all up into a nice big puzzle or into a big present is whenever one makes the why bigger than yourself, push it into the community, make it to where it's about the people around you, not the person that's saying it. You absolutely can make some real big waves for yourself.
That's
Indeed,
awesome.
indeed.
Beautiful,
I
dude.
love that.
You love that?
Yes. I'm
Yeah.
How can you not love that?
Yeah.
Oh, 5'6" situation over here.
That's why everybody loves him.
Oh,
Right.
man.
She's 5'1", so you.
No,
stay
he's
there.
5'6".
I didn't say
Are you
she-
5'6"?
I'm 5'6", praying for 5'7".
Okay.
Yeah, I said you're only 5'1"
8.5.
and a half. So.
Don't cheat her out of the half.
My God.
Every inch
The half's
counts.
not even that high.
It's true. Come on, you were tiny in middle school. You were
Yeah,
open.
4
I read
feet
your book.
10. Yeah,
Yeah.
not middle school. It was a 10th grader.
Oh, as a 10th grader,
Wow.
you're
Yeah,
still
4
there.
feet 10 inches tall.
See?
Yeah,
Okay.
Hey,
yeah.
Muggsy Bolen's all I'm saying. Muggsy Bolen, one of the best basketball players in the world. He's everybody's towering over him. Amazing basketball player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't me.
No.
Great things come in little packages.
That's right. That's
The
right.
best things come in little packages. Just saying.
You thought you'd throw that in for free?
Yep. There you go, Will.
And if you ask John, he would agree.
Yes.
Yes. You know,
He better, or he'll get in trouble.
He better. Yeah. I've seen him numerous times.
Yeah.
He's on point.
Yes.
He is. He's doing a good thing. He's a good husband. So, hey, Steve, I want all of you guys to think about this question as we wind down here today. What could you tell our community, the people that are listening to this show, the playbacks of this show today? The great Steve Fisher was here on this show, and I don't say that disparagingly. You know I love you, and I do believe you're great. Right?
I feel that way about you.
Yeah, and I've never told you differently. I've been consistent since all over
Been
this.
steady.
Yeah, so your job is to look into the camera and encourage our community. We have
First camera, right here.
Yeah,
Point that
Right
way.
there.
Oh, right there. Okay.
yeah, that guy right there. Yeah. And tell them something encouraging. Infuse a little hope from the heart of Steve Fisher.
Yeah, you know what? First of all, we live in an absolutely amazing community. I don't know if we could be in a better place in America. We're protected from a lot of the ups and downs of the economy. We're a little more sheltered here, even though we feel it too.
Yes.
But we have a community that is relational based, number one. Go up to Denver, it's transactional based. But here it's all about the people. And invest in those people, invest in the businesses in this town, give back, make your life bigger than just about yourself. I love supporting Tri Lakes Cares. It makes me feel good to do something for people that I've been in that situation. I needed that help. I know what it's like, and I know what a difference that organization makes. It's really easy for anybody to be bigger than themselves.
Yes.
If you just get out of your own way and you just stop for a second and say, what could I do? Where could I make a difference? There's so many nonprofits in this town that are dying for help. They're dying for people just like you, just like every single one of us. Go be bigger than yourself. Go get involved. You can make a difference in this community, and a lot of people really appreciate it. And I do credit card processing. Not the most exciting thing in the world, but what is the cool part about my job is that I've made it about other people and supporting other businesses and promoting other businesses. And then it all comes back and it supports you. So I don't know, as far as encouraging, I'd just say, go make your life bigger than just about you and your immediate family. It's not that hard to do, and you can really make a big difference in this world.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank
Good
you.
job. Thank you. Yeah, Zach.
Yes, sir. One question that I ask myself regularly, my wife and I talk about this, is it's not just the quantity of investment that you're making in people, but the quality. And we have a group of employees that we treat like our family. We have a number of people that would be a part of that local community that we're able to help through Freedom Landscapes. But it goes far out beyond that. Your neighbors, your family in town, your extended family, things like that. Do you have a quality investment in? If you were to ask yourself that question, what quality investment do I have in people, and what people would fall on that list that I know that I've made a quality effort to make an impact on? I can give you that list for Freedom Landscapes. I can give you that list for our local community. And that's what I challenge you to do, is not just, man, can I dump money into this? Can I dump money into that? But how can you take your time and your personal investment and make a quality investment in somebody, instead of just reaching out and making a touch with hundreds of people? Man, why don't you take a list of 10? Take a list of 10 individuals that you can pour into. And I think every person's capable of that. No matter what situation you're in, no matter what financial status you're in, you have time. Every one of us has time, and you can make that investment, and that's what we've tried to do for Freedom Landscapes.
Thank you, Zach.
Yeah, I would ask anybody listening or watching, I want you guys to think for a moment, what is it that whether it be a seed of excitement or a seed of encouragement, that you wanted to do something more than today. You know, we want to serve our communities and we want to build into the community we have. But I want you to think about, half the time it's just starting. And then I want you to go and I want you to consider for a moment that you go into a hardware store and there might be a janitor there that doesn't work for Lowe's. Lowe's hired them to come in. I want you to go into a jeweler and to realize that it's not a K Jewelers, that's an independent shop. I want you to think that regardless, whatever it may look like, security firm, anything that we might have looked at in a way that was just enough to pay the bills. If you were a janitor, well, let me ask you this. If you're a janitor that owns the business, that's an entirely different flavor. And quite frankly, the flavor's sweet and it tastes really good. I would like to ask and encourage and maybe put that seed of hope that if you're that person, that Jay Dial or that Steve Fisher or the Zach Langston at a W-2 position or just lost a job or whatever that may look like, and you're sitting in that chair and you're like, I want to do something more tomorrow. What do I need to do today in order to achieve that? I want you to know that seed is there for a reason, and you need to get next to anyone that is either a business owner, that is either a financial coach, a business coach, any one of those, to say, hey, I've got a seed, I don't know what to do with it. It's just in a plastic bag, now I got to put it in the ground. Know that that seed is there for a purpose. I'm a believer, so I know that in Scripture it says the giftings and the callings of the Lord are without repentance. So understand that it also says that He gave you the ability to create wealth. So just know that that seed has a lot of purpose, driven and really sown into it. And all you need to find is water. Water amongst my bearded brother over here, my 6-foot championship baseball player over there. But in that space, I want you to know there is life to be lived outside of W-2. Maybe that's a book to write later.
That was awesome. We all have a higher calling.
Yes.
And most people are just afraid to go out and answer that call.
It's
scary.
Yeah.
But if you just take that step, you'll start down that path. And
Can I tie into that once more, just really fast? Is that okay?
It'll be really fast.
Really quick.
Okay.
Is you tie it in, you absolutely have to, just start. Doesn't need to be big, it just needs to start.
But you also need to top it off with the armor of God, because you will get the enemy telling you can't do it.
There
So
it
be strong, do it.
Amen.
Yes.
the devil's out there. He wants us to fail.
Well, he hates you, and we hate him. So it's even.
So there you go.
Right.
Power, love, and a sound mind. That's what I'm saying. Power, love, and a sound mind.
I love the saying you used to always say when someone said, I don't believe in God. That's okay, He believes in you.
Yes.
That's right.
Beautiful. I love that
That's
answer.
another Frankism. Yes.
I always loved every time you said that.
Well, guys, we need, before we close, give them contact information.
TripleJRodeo.com or, that's probably the best way. TripleJRodeo.com.
Can he announce my contact information?
That was
I
good.
know he's in trouble.
Zach Langston, Freedom Landscapes. My cell number, my personal cell, 719-301-3000. We do have a 4000 number for the office, but call me first. Would love to talk to you about landscaping.
Or 911. Yes.
For me, Steve Fisher, my cell phone 760-710-7446. And you can find out more about me on www.heartlandconnect.biz, B-I-Z.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Lisa, you're awesome.
Thank
you.
too, Frank.
For being a part of the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa this morning. We're going to come back with another show. But if you want to reach more people with your business, please reach out to us, where we have a reach of up to 40,000 people a week on the show here. And also visit our new website at beencouraged.net to become a sponsor or request an on-site visit with Lisa and I to get your business name out there, because it doesn't matter how well you do what you do if no one knows you're doing it.
There it is.
Right, so let us help you.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yeah. You have anything to post on this first one?
If you don't have a brick and mortar, we will also meet you at your choice location as well, whether it's a coffee shop or whatever.
Indeed. We know a lot of people, so helping you get to know a lot of people is what Lisa and I were put on earth to do.
Yeah.
Thanks for being. Show number 2 is coming up. Thanks again to Steve Fisher, Zach Langston, and the incredible Jay Dow for being here with us today as we continue to infuse hope and encouragement into our community through local humans. We'll be back.
So we're very excited to announce that the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa is now reaching over 30,000 listeners each week and growing.
And growing.
Why
From my dad's 40-year grind as an immigrant mechanic to personal traumas such as my mom's suicide attempts, I know life's hurdles. That's why Cressio's mission is to empower the underprivileged right here in Colorado Springs. Are you struggling with sales? We'll help with leads and conversions. Or are you overwhelmed? We'll help with automating your tasks and optimizing your business for staffing. Are you ready to transform? Scan today to start.
So we're very excited to announce that the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa is now reaching over 30,000 listeners each week and growing.
And growing.
Why
From my dad's 40-year grind as an immigrant mechanic to personal traumas such as my mom's suicide attempts, I know life's hurdles. That's why Cressio's mission is to empower the underprivileged right here in Colorado Springs. Are you struggling with sales? We'll help with leads and conversions. Or are you overwhelmed? We'll help with automating your tasks and optimizing your business for staffing. Are you ready to transform? Scan today to start.
So we're very excited to announce that the Be Encouraged Show with Frank and Lisa is now reaching over 30,000 listeners each week and growing.
And growing.
Why
From my dad's 40-year grind as an immigrant mechanic to personal traumas such as my mom's suicide attempts, I know life's hurdles. That's why Cressio's mission is to empower the underprivileged right here in Colorado Springs. Are you struggling with sales? We'll help with leads and conversions. Or are you overwhelmed? We'll help with automating your tasks and optimizing your business for staffing. Are you ready to transform? Scan today to start.
So we're very excited to announce that the Be Encouraged Show with Frank and Lisa is now reaching over 30,000 listeners each week and growing.
And growing.
Why
From my dad's 40-year grind as an immigrant mechanic to personal traumas such as my mom's suicide attempts, I know life's hurdles. That's why Cressio's mission is to empower the underprivileged right here in Colorado Springs. Are you struggling with sales? We'll help with leads and conversions. Or are you overwhelmed? We'll help with automating your tasks and optimizing your business for staffing. Are you ready to transform? Scan today to start.
So we're very excited to announce that the Be Encouraged Show with Frank and Lisa is now reaching over 30,000 listeners each week and growing.
And growing.
Why
From my dad's 40-year grind as an immigrant mechanic to personal traumas such as my mom's suicide attempts, I know life's hurdles. That's why Cressio's mission is to empower the underprivileged right here in Colorado Springs. Are you struggling with sales? We'll help with leads and conversions. Or are you overwhelmed? We'll help with automating your tasks and optimizing your business for staffing. Are you ready to transform? Scan today to start.
So we're very excited to announce that the Be Encouraged Show with Frank and Lisa is now reaching over 30,000 listeners each week and growing.
And growing.
Why
From my dad's 40-year grind as an immigrant mechanic to personal traumas such as my mom's suicide attempts, I know life's hurdles. That's why Cressio's mission is to empower the underprivileged right here in Colorado Springs. Are you struggling with sales? We'll help with leads and conversions. Or are you overwhelmed? We'll help with automating your tasks and optimizing your business for staffing. Are you ready to transform? Scan today to start.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the Be Encouraged Show with Frank and Lisa. And this young lady has her volume up. Welcome.
But I'm on Do Not Disturb.
I'm Frank Sinclair, Chief Encouragement Officer for Dream Again Business Consulting and
Lisa Sinnott with Innovate Success.
Indeed. Together, we are to Be Encouraged Show with Frank and Lisa. Remember, we have a reach of up to 40,000 people a week for the show, and we bring incredible humans into the studio with us to infuse hope and encouragement into our community and to try to create space that way. You know what? Your chair is a little low. You want me to pull it up?
Yes,
there?
that would be great.
There we
Yes.
go. Yeah. You know, we can do anything we want. This is our show. Why isn't it working, Lisa?
You gotta pull it out.
Pull it
not
out.
up. No, to the right. Yeah, pull it out.
It's fine.
Here,
It's fine.
stand
You're
up
fine
again.
being that
Stand
low?
up again.
Yeah.
No, she's
Just
not.
switch
Switch chairs.
People are used to me being short. That one's fine.
Here.
Get it.
Yeah,
Can you bring
Chris
on
has
up,
got
Chris?
you. Chris has
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris to the rescue once again with his big guns. He's been working out, so.
She's still short. I think you need a bar stool.
Oh, gosh. Petite women don't like to be called short, by the way.
Okay.
What do you like to be called?
Petite. Not short.
Fun size. Fun size.
Yeah, fun
Fun
size.
size.
Yeah.
All right.
I like that.
Well, we're here with three fun-sized women today in studio. Right? And we're so glad to do this. Lisa,
Yes,
we got amazing people. And typically, you're the person that, but I got to bring some today.
You did.
Yeah. Bring some people into the
Yes.
studio.
Although I got Trevor first.
Yeah. Well, I
He's
knew
our
him
panel
first.
host. You knew him first, but I locked him in first to come on our show.
And it was like 6 months ago, wasn't it?
Right? It was 6 months ago. I mean, I was way ahead of the game because he is a very busy guy. So
Yeah.
he travels a lot.
I do travel a lot.
Yeah.
So do these ladies.
Yes, They do,
Yeah,
which
they
is
do.
perfect,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. See, we got the perfect duo for
Yes,
you today, my
we
friend.
do.
Yeah, so Trevor, you're a panel host. Tell us a little bit about these people, Lisa, first of all.
Okay, yes. So Trevor Deardorff, founder CEO of Amnet. Trevor's tech journey began at age 10 with basic programming while working at Best Buy. He's now a pro public speaker and drone videographer, which is really cool. I've seen some of his footage is incredible.
That was an interesting edit there. So I took
Oh,
a
you were 10?
I was programming at age 10, but I started Amnet while I was at Best Buy 25 years ago. So
Oh,
thanks
my.
for up there.
All right,
That's
yeah.
pretty darn cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, of course, to my right, we have Miss, do you say Andrea or Andrea? Andrea, okay. Andrea Van Note, or Van Note.
Van Note.
Van Note. I live in France.
It's done. It's done. It's done.
Let's just keep it.
I know, but I can make it sound French. I can make anything sound French.
Yeah, you were in France, right?
Yeah,
So
a couple
you
of
gotta make
years.
stuff
Yeah.
French.
We're proud of Conseil avec toi. So anyway, Andrea is a certified travel advisor with 6 years in the field. She specializes in value-driven travel planning. Formerly from New Jersey, she now owns a cruise planners franchise.
Yeah, you're from New Jersey?
I am. Don't mess with me.
Yeah, she's hardcore.
Yeah, my first wife was from New Jersey.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh my God. Someday she's gonna hear you say that.
Right?
He puts that nugget in certain shows, and I'm like, oh my God. And he sees his ex-wife like all the time in family events and
Oh, we're friends.
yeah.
Yeah, there's no
She
problem.
probably says the same thing, but you want
Yeah,
to
she
keep it
will.
cordial.
Yeah, she would say the same thing about me, yes.
Oh yeah.
Maybe I should have said, weren't you lucky?
Yes, exactly. Yes. And of course, we have Miss Suzanne Hogan, moved from Florida to Colorado 7 years ago. Mom of 2 young adults, college football enthusiast.
Florida State.
Florida
State,
State.
yes.
Yes.
And she's a travel lover. She's a cruise planners associate and realtor. I actually had the pleasure, I don't know if you guys remember this, but I connected you two. I introduced you guys at the
That's
Tri-Lakes
right.
Chamber After Hours events
That's right.
up north.
Now you're working together.
Yeah. And
Look
now
at
they're working
that.
together. I know. It's like,
Oh, my.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I love it when connections work.
Yeah,
It's
especially when
fine.
they work through you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I see
Exactly.
it
It's
all over
like
your
what
face.
you do.
it is what I do. Naturally, organically, yeah.
Organically through you.
Yes, there
Yes.
So, Charlie, who do you need to be organically connected to? I can help you guys. I think.
Okay.
If not, I'll work harder.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. I told Lisa Trevor about going to, what's the name of the men's club?
The El Paso Club.
The El Paso Club. Yeah, Trevor takes me to the El Paso Club.
I want to get in there.
Yeah.
It's an all
And
men's
she's-
club. I'm like, I need
It's a bro club.
I just
Doggone
need-
it.
Come on, it's a bro club. I'm like, sister needs to get in the building.
You can get in the building.
Just
I can take you there
just
for
not
lunch.
club.
Yeah, you can have lunch with her there.
Yeah.
And they have a
Okay.
spectacular
Take me
lunch.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where you'll take us to lunch for the spotlight visit.
Okay.
Done and done. Boom.
Bam. There you go. Next week.
I think we're booked next week. Go to beencouraged.net and
Yeah. You
I'll do it later.
Do sign him up.
you want me to
Personally.
sign? Oh, now,
Yeah.
now we know what we're eating.
we can't rely on him doing that. So.
Oh my God.
Love you, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell
feeling
us
the love.
Feeling the
Actually,
love.
yes, next Wednesday. Are you down?
You want me to look right now?
You're live on the air right now. You just said I can go eat at the El Paso Club, so.
Yeah. So do you like it?
Yeah, go ahead and book it. October 11th, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
all right,
Yeah.
Can do.
good.
Booked and done.
Alright.
We'll go down that first, do a
Yep.
on-site video with you, and then we'll go eat.
Okay.
Right on. Cool. Hey, tell us a little bit about who is this Trevor Deardorff?
Oh, yes. You know, I got asked when I came in here today. It was, what do you do? And it's, well, Amnet is what pays the bills. for the most part. You know, I serve on some boards. I'm active in Rotary. I do professional drone videography. I do professional public speaking. So what I do is a whole lot more than just what I do for a living.
Yeah, I didn't even ask you what you did. I said, who is Trevor Deardorff?
Well,
That's a whole different thing. Tell us a little bit, because you've been in this community a very, very long time.
a little over 30 years.
Yeah, over 30 years. I know your dad. I know your wife, right? I know your kids. Yeah. So what makes Trevor Deardorff Trevor Deardorff?
Maybe ADD is what makes Trevor. That I don't just do a few things, because I guess I thrive on change and distraction, and you know, a lot of things interest me, and so I do a lot of things, and I try to temper that with making sure I don't do so many things I'm not doing anything well. But you know, serving our community, traveling, sometimes I get to do both. My wife and I are leaving week and a half. We're going to Maui.
Oh, wow.
So when the fires happened in Lahaina, reached out to the Rotary Club people in Maui and said, hey, my wife and I want to come help.
Wonderful.
What can we do? And they said, when you come in, I said, I gave you some dates that we could come, and they said, all right, well, things are still changing rapidly, so call us, you know, when you're a week out, and we'll have an idea of where you're needed. So
How incredible is that?
we don't know what we're doing yet. We just know
That's so
when we're
good.
going.
Hands
Yeah.
on, you're just doing it. Your
That's
servant's
fun.
ready to work. That's incredible.
Yeah. Lisa's an ex-Hawaii resident.
Yeah, I grew up in Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oahu. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, thank you and your bride for doing
yeah.
that. You know, we're gonna get to you guys too. You kind of fill in the tenor of this, aren't you?
Mhm.
Yeah. Am I scaring you yet? Yeah. No, Andrea, no. She's good to go. I got a note for that. Right. She's ready. Yeah. So your wife has gone through some challenges, and I you know, if you don't want to talk about it, just say I don't want to talk about it, Frank. But I think it really helps, because challenge is a human condition, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. No, and I would tell you that generally speaking, my wife and I are open books.
Yeah, good.
But no, in 2021, my wife came down with a bad case of cancer. She had stage 4B uterine cancer. And
Cancer sucks.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes, I lost my mom. She had uterine cancer.
so, yeah, and there's no stage 4C, there's no stage 5. I mean, stage 5 is room temperature, right?
Right.
So, it's, I guess, as bad as it could get with that, and it metastasized her ovaries, and so they did a radical hysterectomy, and she went through chemo, and she's in remission, and feeling very blessed for that.
Yes.
But don't feel as secure, I think, as we once did. You know, it's a little bit cliche that somebody beats cancer and then 5 years later shows up and they're gone in a month. And so we have an oncology appointment today for her. That's the next thing I'm doing. So staying on top of it, being extra cautious, but yeah, she's in remission, and she's kind of taking this on as a mission that she would never get up on stage in front of people, but if you ask her about this, she's gone on TV and talked on the microphone in front of people. There's a group called Sue's Gift that is her gynecologic
Sue's
cancer
Gift, yeah.
Really good.
support, and she's pretty active in that. We have sponsored a few of their events, like we were the title sponsor for their golf tournaments and some other things, but so that's become kind of a cause that she's very active in and interested in.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
Yeah, I have thyroid cancer right now, and Thursday I find out what next steps, and I had intestinal cancer in April. Yeah, with a mass wrapped around my lower intestines when they took a foot out, and etc. So, yeah, so The C word is very real to me right now in my own life, and it's so real to a lot of people that are going to watch this show and garner some hope. What's your wife's name again? Tara. Garner some hope from Tara and from Trevor walking through this journey. Worst case scenario, and today she's free. In remission, and they're going to go to Maui and help other people. Isn't that
That's
a great
incredible.
story?
Yes.
Yeah.
She's paying it forward. She's given more life, and now she's helping others with their lives. And
Yeah.
that's beautiful. A lot of people can learn from that.
Yes.
Yeah. What have you got, Andrea? No. that's really hard to follow. Oh my God.
No, so just say I've got COVID right now.
Oh my God.
In the moment.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Andrea.
Andrea, okay, well, I'm a mom of 6.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got
all
5.
Girls, all girls.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah.
Girls
survived.
rule. We have a motto in our house: girls rule, boys rule.
Yeah,
No offense
that's
to all the
true.
boys out there,
Yeah.
but yeah, we are girls strong. My husband, God bless him, he's just like, oh Lord, you know.
Dying of estrogen.
Yeah, and we have 3 granddaughters and a grandson, which we got him, and we were like,
Oh, one grandbaby.
what do you
boy.
do with this? I have all sisters, all daughters, and now we have this boy, but he's awesome. We love him.
So your 4th grandbaby.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and I worked at a university for 20 years
Which
and
one?
put Monmouth University in New Jersey.
Yeah, my ex-wife went to Rutgers.
Okay. And I put all 6 girls through college while I worked there.
Wow.
And when the last one was getting ready to graduate, I was like, okay, I've like given blood for this place. It's time to move on. What am I going to do? Because we traveled all the time. And my husband, I wanted to go to Europe when we first got married. My husband said, there's a lot to see in this country first. So I said, put your seatbelt on. And we've been to all but one state, which keeps eluding us, but we'll hopefully 2024 we'll get there.
What's your favorite so far?
I have a problem with favorites
Oh.
because there's so many different things about different places.
Yeah.
So he was asking me what's my favorite place I've ever visited, and I'm like, well, maybe I haven't been there yet, you know.
Yeah.
So I do love California of all the states,
Yeah.
Hawaii, of course. But yeah, it's hard to say because they're all so different. So there's just, you know, that's why I love seeing all the
What's the state you haven't been to?
Oregon.
Okay.
Oh, they have really good wine.
That's,
I'm
this is
just
very
saying,
true.
I want to go
Very
there just for the wine.
Good cheese too. But
I missed that when I was in Oregon.
Yeah.
Did you?
I'll have to go back and do
It is so.
yeah. So anyway, so since I had a lot of time off, Frank, I had a lot of time off at my job, you know, working at the university because I had worked there a long time and I had a lot of vacation time. And the thought of, we knew we were moving from New Jersey to Colorado. And I was
Why
like,
Colorado?
well, because we had been to all these other states, and every time I go someplace, I'd be like, no, I don't think I could live here. It's a nice place, but I don't want to live here. I had 2 sisters here. I had a daughter here. So I love the low humidity.
Yes.
So, so that brought us to Colorado. And then I'm like, well, what am I going to do? You know, like, do I want to start a job and have them tell me after 6 months I get a week off? I'll be crawling out the window like, bye, you know?
Yeah.
So my cousin, who had a cruise planners franchise, said, you should sell travel with me. And I was like, well, I love to plan my own trips. Why not do it for other people?
Yeah.
And she does amazing. She did our honeymoon.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Ah.
So,
How cool is that?
I have to note now, I really don't have time to plan my own trips. And sometimes when I travel, when my husband can't go because he started a new job, so now he's kind of limited on vacation time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm going to Japan. See ya, you know? But so I travel with my friend who's a travel advisor, and we get somewhere, and we're like, what are we gonna do, because neither one of us have time to worry about our own trips. It's kind of like when you're, married to a carpenter or a plumber, and
Like Dr.
it's
Hill
like
yourself.
the same thing. So, yeah, but so.
How long you been married, Andrea?
18 years.
18 years.
Yeah,
So number
second
2 for you?
marriage, yes,
Well, yeah,
it is.
me too.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's
Yeah.
from New Jersey too. We
Is
went to
he?
kindergarten together.
Oh, you've known him that long?
Yeah.
Oh my.
But he wasn't my type,
Yeah.
so yeah.
But if
Was he
became-
like the nerdy guy?
Total
Total.
is.
Yeah. You learn later that they're actually cute.
Well, somebody told me one time. Somebody
It took a minute.
Somebody told me one time that they go, geeks make the best husbands,
They
and I'm
do.
like, oh really? Because I had like the bad boy the first time.
Yeah.
So so he's like, yeah,
So,
you finally.
all
got
your
smart.
babies were born with the first husband?
4
4 to 6.
of mine and 2 are his.
Oh, so
So,
blended.
but
Yeah.
we've known each other forever.
Oh,
so,
okay. Yeah.
My oldest daughter used to babysit his kids.
Oh,
and
wow.
So it was like a pretty easy.
My ex-wife went to high school with that guy that was on The Sopranos. The lead on The Sopranos. What was his name? He died, Garofino or something like. He died, I think, this last year. Yeah. Hackensack, Westwood. Yeah.
So just like me, when I watch The Sopranos, I know like all the neighborhoods and everything.
Oh yeah, you know the hoods.
Yeah, and I knew someone who got messed up with them, and was a little nervous. Testified against them. It was a little touch and go there for a while. So yeah, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing. Well, you're a Florida State grad, so
Yes, sir.
first of all, sorry.
They're doing good again. Number 5 this year.
I know, but they're in the same conference as my team.
Which
So,
is?
North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah. Born and raised North Carolina, so I bleed blue. Yeah, but you are an enthusiast. And I remember the first time I met Suzanne, we met at a coffee shop in Monument, right? And had an opportunity to meet this young lady, and I knew she was going to make waves here in our city. I knew it from the very first time.
Well, thank you.
Tell us about what you're up to.
I'm a realtor, do both commercial and residential, and as all of you probably know, the last couple of years haven't been the best for real estate. So as Lisa mentioned, she introduced Andrea and I last year, and I had grown up traveling. It was in my blood. My dad worked for Delta, so we had gone to, he didn't go to the close by states unless family lived there. We went, across the country, across the world, whatever. And when I met Andrea, and she said, "I'm looking for someone to help me in my business. Do you know somebody?" And I'm like, yeah, me.
That's perfect.
So it's been a great opportunity. I had, friends all growing up, that, you need to help me travel like you do. And I feel like with now with the connection with Andrea and Cruise Planners, I am able to help plan this. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to spend my time planning your vacation if I'm not getting paid for it.
Exactly.
I'll share with you about my trip, but I'm not going to necessarily book it for just because. But I figure in this way, and it's been awesome. I've been learning about places that I didn't even know that weren't on my list to begin with, and now my list of want to travel to places have grown even that much more.
Well, I was with AAA of Northern California for 12 years, and in the call center we had the travel department. So I did a piece of the travel agency, but way back in the day. But I have a question for you guys though in the travel world. How is it going, shedding light that there are travel agents, so to speak? We used to know them as travel agents. Now you're called travel advisors. So how's that going? Like just letting the public in general know that you guys do this service?
What's the advantage of that rather than going typing something online?
Well,
Saves you a lot of time. And
a lot of
make it
people
you a
that
better
come
deal.
to us have tried to do that, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, there are so many options out there. We're so confused." So, and we visit like people think it's a lot of fun. We go on, they call it a fam trip, to familiarize ourselves with places. And we'll spend like 30,000 steps a day touring resorts and islands and everything. And people are like, yeah, we feel bad for you. It's work, you know, it really is work. Yeah. But what that allows
if you need
us,
a +1, okay.
you know, what that allows us to do is to help to vet our clients to find out, you know, obviously this one does not want to go to a resort that's like a spring break 24/7 crazy go, you know, it's quiet or whatever. So it allows us to narrow down where we're going to send them. A lot of people come to us with a budget that just isn't realistic, and I'll just say, I'm sorry, there is nowhere I'm sending you on that budget, you know, because what's going to happen if they get to a place and it's falling apart or it's scary or whatever, you know, they're going to come back and blame me for it. So I have no problem doing that, but you know, we provide a value in that we're saving a lot of time. We're saving them all of the research. I used to spend a lot of time planning my own trips, and you know, I enjoy it, and a lot of people do enjoy it, but you know, what are safe hotels in European cities that are city center and in nice, safe areas, and you know, and that's what we do. And if we haven't been there, we have 2,500 other cruise planners agents that someone has, and we can get all kinds of information. So, and we're paid off the back end.
Right.
So the vendors pay us. So whether you book that Disney vacation yourself or have someone else do it, it doesn't cost any difference. So
really?
So time is money. So why wouldn't you let someone else plan it for you?
Exactly.
You know?
That's
They
why
actually, the vendors will build that into their marketing dollars. So it's kind of one of those, whether you choose to go with us or you go directly with them, you're still paying the same amount.
That's right.
The company, you
People
know, the
don't
big
know that.
vendors
They don't know
making
that.
the extra money.
And a lot of times, because we're such a powerful driving force, we'll get special deals. We can't advertise them, but you know, we're told, you know, if you can, any clients you book by this date, you can give them an extra $100 onboard credit, things like that the public would never get.
They wouldn't have access to.
But we have access to it. So we have a lot of good tools.
Wow.
Did you know that, Trevor?
No.
See, and he is a traveler.
I know this
He
now.
is a traveler.
Yes.
We were talking.
Yeah, going forward.
Yes.
Yeah, one of the things that Lisa and I love to do, and one of the reasons that we do this show is that to create awareness for things like this that people simply don't know, and it benefits everybody. It benefits you, benefits us, benefits them. So, yeah, I know where my next plan will be at. Well, that's for sure, definitely. Yeah, we are in a, I don't know when crisis mode, but the economy kind of is hard. This is a hard economy right now.
It is.
Yeah, first of all, you, Trevor, in the technology space that you're in, is there anything happening in this space right now that's causing you any angst, or is it difficult right now in the technology space? Or?
You know, probably the thing that we're having to pay the most attention to that we didn't always at this level is just security. That the hackers are getting smarter, that the tools are getting better, and it's a cat and mouse game. And you know, it used to be 15 years ago, all you needed was a good firewall and some good antivirus, and for the most part, you're probably okay. And now, the layers of security we have to pile on to people doing day to day. One, it's costly, and two, it's inconvenient. I mean, some of us are old enough to remember when traveling, when you could go to the airport and you instead of dropping somebody at the curb, you'd park your car, you'd go with them to the gate, and you'd sit with them until they boarded.
I remember
that.
You wouldn't even think to do something like that in the post 9/11 world, but that was normal once upon a time. But now you've got all this security, and security's inconvenient, and people resist doing it. I can make your network so secure you can't even use it. So there's a balancing act between productivity and security. And I used to really focus on how can I make you more productive with your computer and your network and your business. And that's the secondary conversation now. It starts with how do we make you more secure. And it's less fun.
Yeah, it is less fun.
I mean, you've been hacked.
Oh man,
He's
horribly
been
hacked.
a lot lately.
Yeah.
Oh, that's no fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm, I have nearly 100,000 people that follow me on social media, so it's a target.
Yeah.
I'm a target for hackers because of my audience, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and etc. But that seems as though it's the pain creates purpose, pain creates opportunity. It does all of us, right? We're in
Right,
business because we're
absolutely.
solving some pain point for someone. So that, from what I'm extracting from you, it sounds like your industry should be doing pretty good.
People are really happy to pay for cybersecurity after they've been hacked.
Oh, after they've been
After, beforehand, it's like, do we really need that? Do we really
Yeah.
need that? And they want to a la carte it, and it's really, you need this to protect you, and they want to pick and choose.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and it's tough to be as completely secure as you can, and leave out a big chunk.
Yeah.
And
What they need to do is just trust them that. All right, 25 years in the marketplace right now. I mean, doing this work, a trusted name, a local business, one that we need to support, one that's going to do right by you because they understand the intricacies locally and expansively outside of that as well. So that's my plug. Trust this dude.
Yes.
Right.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
But there is a thing about money too, though. So if you're like a startup, a small, and people have a budget too. So how can they afford you? Do you have special? You mentioned a la carte. Like what? Realistically, like what does that look like?
generally speaking, our clients are not startups.
Yeah.
They're going to be people who value technology and know that they can leverage technology to be more successful in their business. And so generally our clients have between 20 and 200 employees.
Okay.
And some that are larger, some that are smaller. Most of our clients, I would say, are in that 20 to 50 size as far as number of employees. So more of a second stage company than a startup.
And we do have plenty of people in the cyberspace for startups with budgets that aren't able to do this. And thanks for that clarification.
Yes, thank you.
The target market.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about the same question to you ladies because, you know, travel's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Right? Fuel, all the other things that go into trying to create a place that's affordable for people to do. How's things in your industry right now?
People want to travel now.
Yeah.
They've been, things used to be, and Andrew can explain this a little bit more, but people kind of would wait to book their vacations and that kind of thing. Well, now, majority of the people pre-plan them, and then you'll get these people at the last minute wanting like, oh, give me a deal. I want to travel somewhere next week. And there are no deals on, you know, they like say, check this ship and it's full. So those special deals are not really there anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, since COVID, they were calling it revenge travel because people were cooped up. They couldn't, you know, you could go take a car trip somewhere. You could go to Mexico, but people were afraid to travel. And so hopefully they were saving up those incentive checks and, you know, just waiting. And now, like before COVID, I sold about 30% cruising and 70% land travel. And now it's 75% cruise travel because people could not get on a cruise ship. You know, that was the last thing to really open back up. And now people are traveling, and the luxury travel industry is exploding.
Is it
People that
really?
are spending the big bucks on trips, it's exploding.
Exploding.
So
Yeah, do you have some of that market?
I do.
Yay.
Yes, a little bit.
A little bit. Want more?
I want more.
Yes.
You know,
Definitely.
definitely. Who doesn't? Right? Yeah, it all goes back to the whole value thing. I'll just take a luxury cruise, for instance. It's a smaller ship. It's a whole step up from traveling with the cruise lines that everyone is familiar with.
Right.
However, everything is included.
Yeah.
So you're paying one price and everything is included in that. With the other ones, you might be paying less, but then you have to add your beverage package, and then you're adding all these excursions and all these other things. And people don't realize, if you look at that big picture, you're really not saving.
Yeah.
too
That's why
much
they need to
money.
talk to you.
Exactly.
Right. What about that American thing? There's a little boat that kind of goes on the East
American
Coast.
Cruise
Yeah. You booked that?
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
You do?
We
Are
actually
you
did
wanting
an
to do
event
that? Yeah,
and
Michelle
promoted
and I.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I kind of find with that is people who are either don't want to go to Europe or feel that they've passed that stage where they can no longer travel to Europe, so they can do an American river cruise like they can in Europe.
Yeah.
So.
I've never had a big inkling personally to want to be in Europe. I love Asia. And I spent a lot of time I was stationed 3 years in Japan, and I explored all the other Asian countries.
Nice.
$10 military hop every weekend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like
Awesome.
awesome, right?
Yeah.
It was incredible. Got any those?
No $10 deals.
No $10 deals.
If I did, I wouldn't be here, sorry.
Frank, we don't sell that.
You know, my wife and I travel a fair bit, and one of the things that we're finding when we travel is places that, like last time we went to Hawaii, used to just be able to go somewhere and do something, and now they're booked months out, even for a restaurant reservation. We got a favorite restaurant that in Maui that you've got to book 6 months out
Oh my.
to have dinner.
And
How do I know what I'm going to be in the mood for that day?
Yeah, exactly.
You're not doing same day stuff for a lot of places we travel.
Numbers this year are actually down for Hawaii, so compared to what they've been. So
Why?
a lot of reason is because the Japanese cannot go to Hawaii.
Why?
can't?
Well, they
Why
just
not?
lifted their travel restrictions. I went to Japan in April, and in January they just finally were letting people back in Japan. So they've got some pretty strict rules over there on who's going.
And they float, at least for Oahu, they float that out.
Exactly. So numbers are down. So I'm actually going in December. So I'm kind of like, yay, numbers.
Where are you
are down
going
a
in
little bit.
December?
We are going to Oahu and to Kauai. So
Is
You
that
want
what
to come
you
sift through ashes in Maui with me?
well, we were supposed to go. My husband loves anything historic, and that's kind of rubbed off. So we were going to stay at the Pioneer Inn in Lahaina, you know, and
Not there anymore.
It's not there.
It's gone?
It's
Yes.
gone. It's gone. So, and I lived in New Jersey when Sandy came, and we had water in our house, and that's why I was like, the mountains are looking pretty good to me right now. And I know what a disaster was after, and for months and months, and you know, all the people there to help and everything, and I was like, I don't need to be in the middle of that. You know, the government's saying, come back, and the residents are like, please don't come back, you know, give us a chance. So that's why I'm not going to Maui right now. And this is my only real supposed vacation of the year, so I'm not volunteering this trip.
Okay.
Next trip.
You know, I love, particularly you here. I'm seeing such a distinct pattern, and I try to teach people to be really in tune with these patterns that you see in your life, because typically it's helping you define what your purpose on earth is, right? Even when you work in a university, you love to travel. Even back then, there's been a travel space in your life for a very, very long time. And now it seems like you've been planted in the very place of your design.
Yeah, I'm not a material person. Like, I don't care. I don't have to have the best of everything.
Yeah.
gifts to, like, people give you gifts. Like, I'm the worst gift giver because I'm always like, well, I know what I like, but I don't know what they like, because to me, there's nothing worse. You get something and you're like, well, now what am I gonna do with this? You know, so like my husband will always say, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm like, can we go somewhere? You know, I would rather have that experience over like material things. So that's, so to
Has
me,
it always
travel,
been that way for you?
pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah, so you're a perfect person to want to do this. Yeah, I see the same thing, you know, Best Buy as a teenager, right?
No.
No, you were an adult already.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
25
Best Buy
years
as a
25 years
Ago. Yeah. So.
ago.
There's some
It's
math to
not a
that.
lady, so you can ask.
So you know, I was probably about 25 when I started working at Best Buy. I was lead PC tech there, and Amnet was kind of born out of that.
You saw the demand.
Well, you know, this was before Windows 98. Do you want to transport yourself back to, wow, what's a mouse do?
Yes.
So Windows 95, Windows 3.1, Mac OS 8, that's the stuff we were working on back then, but Best Buy didn't do any on-site support back then. And people would often call wanting on-site support. And we basically would send them to the phone book if they wanted somebody to come out and help them. And you know, if your network's down, you can't print to your network printer or whatever, it's not something you can bring in. But one day a lady called in wanting one of those newfangled 33.6 modems installed in her PC so that her AOL would go faster. And I told her, you know, if you'd like to bring your computer in, a modem install is $30. We'll help you pick one out. Well, she went off on me. She said, young man, I am 83 years old. If you think I'm gonna crawl under my desk, unplug this steel box, carry it down my stairs, bring it to you so you can install a 4-ounce part, you got another thing coming.
she's doing a few
So she
expletives
started
there,
a new
right?
career, it sounds like.
So her name was Mildred, and she was very sweet, and this is somebody's great grandma. This was before Google, right? I didn't want to send her just a phone book. Who knows who was gonna end up in this sweet woman's house? And so I said, all right, let me give you the pager number of somebody that can help you. I worked at Best Buy, I couldn't afford a cell phone. And so when I got off work, I called her, I set up the appointment, I installed a modem for her. And the next day I was feeling a little conflicted. And so I went to my boss, his name was Chad, he was operations manager of the Best Buy on North Academy here in town. And I told him what had happened. And he said, well, would she have brought her computer in? I said, not a chance. He said, all right, where'd you buy the modem? Best Buy. I said, so you saved the sale. Okay. And then he said, if people call here looking for help and we can't help them, but you can, and it doesn't interfere with your job, I don't have a problem with it.
That's awesome.
So I started scheduling myself for mornings and weekends when I didn't have my kids. And when I left Best Buy, I had a small customer list of businesses and residential stuff. I mean, back then I was not just running network cabling, but teaching people how to use email, people how to use the internet. I'd cut your lawn if you paid my hourly rate back then.
Yes. Heck yeah, in your 20s.
So May 15th, 1998 is Amnet's birthday, and so we're just over 25 years old now. And,
that's incredible. I love that
All because
story.
of Mildred.
all because
Yes,
of Mildred
thank
and
you, Mildred.
Chad. And,
Family,
Mildred.
Mildred's family.
well, Mildred was 83 25 years ago, so I'm thinking Mildred's probably not with us anymore.
Probably not.
I don't know, she sounds
But
kind
her
of
family
feisty.
is. Yes.
But
Might be.
she was great, and you never know. You have to be open to opportunity, right? You don't know where it's going to come from.
Story in interactions with people?
Oh, sometimes.
I think that's an incredible story.
I wish you had a picture of you and Mildred.
Yeah,
Me too.
The Mildred story.
Yes, I love the Mildred story.
We did create a female superhero character for Amnet a few years ago. We really didn't end up using her much, but I considered naming her Mildred. The name really didn't fit the superhero. Maybe it's the alter ego of the superhero.
But it probably would have sparked some opportunity to tell the story though.
Yeah.
We're in a story brand time in life, and people are much more interested in your story than your ability to do stuff and etc. or your degrees and all these other things that we used to sit up on a table and shout, right?
Yeah.
My MBA. Oh,
Yeah.
my
Who
MBA.
cares about
People
Yeah.
going, yes, that and $5 can get you a cup of coffee.
Well,
Right.
I'm looking forward to the spotlight visit because he has superheroes on his wall.
Yeah.
And you could start with the Mildred story when they ask about the superheroes. Like, that's just an immediate starting
We definitely want that story.
Slam dunk that
on
into
our visit.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
You're telling the Mildred
Yeah.
right
So
next to one of the superheroes.
we
doing
want to
it.
tell the world a Mildred story.
Yes.
We do.
Yes,
We
that's
do.
powerful. Seriously.
Yeah. And you really did walk up to her and say, I'm your girl?
Well, we were already in front of like this,
Yeah.
and she said she was looking for someone to help grow her business. Do I know anyone? And I'm like, yeah, I do. We need to talk.
Yes.
It's me.
Yes.
Right here, right here.
That's right.
Well, I had thought about getting into travel when I went back to work after being a stay-at-home mom, and at the time, everything was, it's on the internet and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to make any money because I book all my stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
Well, then the internet seemed to get a little just bombarded. And what's real and what's not. I don't want to be booking a hotel,
There's a lot
somewhere
of
that's not a
scam
legit
stuff going
right.
on with travel too.
yeah.
A lot
So
of
I,
shady stuff out there.
between those couple years, I was like, and then and I kept hearing about, people's vacations that, had to be rebooked during COVID and different, somebody to help you if a flight gets canceled or different things. And so it was like his opportunity came back to me, and it was nice.
But you know what I love what you're doing
What?
is she is in real estate. So tell them, I won't say it, but I
Okay.
will let the cat out of the bag. But your blending of the two.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Well, if you go somewhere and you love it, you have a really good time and want to buy a second home or an investment home, so you can go back and check on it and visit your place and have a tax deduction. I can help you find that home in the new place. It may not be a place that I'm licensed, but my company is literally all over the world. So
somebody.
I can make that connection. We can find you that place in your new, or if you really want to, love it and want to move there, then we can sell your home here and help you do that.
And you're licensed in Florida as well,
I am
correct?
licensed in Florida
Yes,
as well.
Florida and Colorado.
Right.
Yes.
But
Yeah, one last thing, because we're winding down here, my friend. I know, so much fun talking to these folks and stuff. You're doing something that's incredibly creative.
Oh yes.
what is that?
The meals.
My Explore series.
She said, "What is that?"
What is that, sir?
You didn't bring anything?
Andrew and I did a cruise night back in February, and from that, my Explore series was born. It's basically, we started out with Italy, Explore Italy, and we would have my other half is a great cook, so
Brian
Yeah.
Bartone. Can I say that? Brian Bartone. Let's go. And can cook and connect.
Yes, so he likes cooking, and he'll do the cooking. We'll have an event. I get guest speakers to come out that have been there, so it's not just a salesy, type of thing. Although one of the events was explore the European holiday markets, and I did have a vendor come in for that. And I'm actually going on that trip in December. But the next event is November 13th, and it's Explore the Caribbean. And we will have authentic food and adult beverages.
November 13th. Awesome.
Yes.
Where?
It's at the Tri-Lakes Chamber there in Monument.
Oh, off Second Street.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's on Eventbrite, so.
Right.
But we have something very
Yes,
exciting
that's-
starting in January.
That's what I thought you were asking about.
So both of us have found in selling travel, there's like a bunch of people that are kind of lost in travel. Maybe they're single, but their friends don't have the budget they have to travel, or don't want to travel where they want to travel, or even married people. Some people, their spouse does not want to travel with them, or their idea is a hunting vacation and the wife's like, forget that, I want a cruise. So we are starting a group, Solo Adventurers, that is for anyone who wants to meet other people, like-minded people that want to travel. Whether it's we put groups together to take a group of singles, or whether it's just to meet somebody that maybe you want to travel with. And we're working with vendors that do not charge a single supplement, or if they do, it's very minimal. Because like if you go on a cruise by yourself and take up a room that holds 2 people, you're paying double.
Are you really?
Yeah. So if your friend came, it would maybe be $100 more for that room, you know. So it's kind of a no-brainer. There are ships that do have solo rooms that do not cost double, but we basically are going to try to put that all together, and depending on what the group wants, you know, that's what we're going to work to do. So so we're
That's
excited about
awesome.
that. Yeah.
So how do people reach you?
How do people reach us? Well, we have a website.
Oh.
www.destinationdreamswithaz.com.
That gets directly to the 2 of you?
Yeah,
Yes.
we have. Yeah, it's our joint website, and we're on Facebook. We have it's Andrea Van Note Cruise Planners is the Facebook page, but Suzanne is on there as well.
And I have my own
And we have
regular Facebook
we have our
page.
regular Facebook pages, so we can be reached all kinds of different ways.
Thank you. And how can they reach you for real estate, business, or any other way you want to be reached?
Suzanne Hogan at EXP, or you could just 352-978-9944. It's my Florida number.
Okay. Yes. Go Seminole.
Yes.
Yes.
We want North Carolina to do good in the ACC, just
not with you.
Yes.
I got you. I feel the exact same way for you.
Yep. College football.
Trevor, Mnet, how do they reach you, my friend?
Well, Amnet is online at amnet.net. One of the things we didn't get to talk about was one of my, hobbies turned side hustle, and I do drone videography, in particular in places that I travel.
It's amazing.
Went leaf peeping with my wife and got some fresh fall footage this last weekend. I have to edit still, but that's wavesandfalls.com. And then I also do some professional speaking.
Yes. Both of us share that space.
Yeah. So I speak on company culture, I speak on cybersecurity, and most recently I'm speaking on AI, because that's what people want to learn more about.
Yeah.
But that's just my name, TrevorDeardorff.com.
Yes.
So those are the 3 places you can find me.
Indeed. Reach out to these wonderful humans, right? Because they're doing such great work in our community, and they care about their offerings and the value that they bring to you all in our community as well. I got lost for a minute, but I'm back.
Okay, hi.
You okay with that?
Welcome back.
Okay, thank you. Before we wrap up, let's spotlight our sponsors one more time. Cressio, not sure how to navigate the business world with new AI technologies. Cressio offers pay what you can consultations to underprivileged business owners in Colorado Springs. Please give them a visit at Cressio.com to learn more. And also our wonderful lady, Karen Butcher at WestCo Insurance.
Yes,
She's my agent.
She's mine too.
Indeed.
Amazing.
Here's my Florida rental.
There we go. Yeah. Karen Butcher. Karen loves helping people save and get the best service ever. She's been in the business 23 years, and what she likes to say is, I have some of my original clients from 23 years ago. Karen Butcher at WestCo Insurance. Our mission is to extend hope and encouragement and help people realize their potential through networking, collaboration, and community involvement. You help us further our mission to help others. Visit our new website at beencouraged.net. If you want to reach Lisa personally, she's at lisa@beencouraged.net or Frank at beencouraged.net.
Thank you
as
for
well.
not giving my cell phone out.
And her cell phone is 719. I'm joking.
We did that on one show.
All my dude friends started ringing, right? So John wasn't having it. I'm just saying. Right? So beencouraged.net to become a sponsor of our show and get your business name out for our reach of the 40,000 people every week.
And growing.
And growing, yes, as we extend the message of hope and encouragement in the community. Make sure that you like and follow us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and also look at our show on LinkedIn. I'm Frank Sinclair, Chief Encouragement Officer for Dream Again Business Consulting, and you are?
Lisa Sennett with Innovate Success.
Yes, and you're innovating some success. You're ready this week, aren't you?
I am ready.
You are ready. Been on your 7-day love fest,
Yes.
and now you're just glowing and
Now
ready
I'm ready
to
to
rock
work.
this, right? Yeah.
I was texting him early. I'm like, Lisa's back.
Lisa's back. Yes, indeed. Lisa and I love Colorado Springs in the Front Range, and we love uplifting and encouraging humans and creating space for other people. Join us next week between 11 and 1 for the Be Encouraged show with Frank and Lisa. We'll have more extraordinary humans to uplift and encourage you as well. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.